All right, what is up, people of YouTube? It has been a little bit since I've put a video on here, but I thought I'd do that, give a little bit of an update of kind of what's going on with my shooting stuff, and talk a little bit about some things that happened recently. First thing that let's talk about is the Zermätt Arms Waltz 9. So, for those of you who didn't see it, I posted some shorts on here of me shooting some stages with a Waltz 9. No, it is not my gun. It was a gun that I borrowed thanks to fortunate timing and circumstances. Basically, somebody that I know was tasked with testing one of these guns, and we were shooting a match together, and he was like, hey, the way this match was, it was the Old Fort shootout down in Arkansas. It's kind of a goofy match. You shoot 2 days, but it's the same 10 stages each day. So you can like switch divisions if you want. So that's kind of what we were doing. I actually ended up shooting limited optics both days, but it's kind of like 2 separate match scores. So you can use a different gun each day if you want to. And so that's what I did. He shot it the second day. I shot it the first day. And so I got to put quite a few rounds on one for, I mean, like it was a 10-stage match. It was like a 250 round match. So not crazy, but shot it a little bit. Did some doubles with it at the end of the day too, or when the match was over, the second day. So I've got a bit of a feel for the gun. Not a ton, like I don't have thousands of rounds on it, but I've got a few hundred rounds through it at this point. And so I can tell you a little bit about what I think about it. It feels really nice. It's pretty heavy. That's one thing that was probably the biggest thing for me to get used to coming from Glocks. You know, even the Glock 34, which is kind of like the big boy Glock, and like this one's got some weight added to it in a couple places, but even this is like nowhere near as heavy as that thing. So just like transitioning the gun from one target to the other, or to another, or whatever, like that was probably like the biggest thing that I noticed affecting my shooting. That and just like the recoil impulse was a lot different than I was used to. That gun's a little bit slower, softer, like super flat recoil impulse. It's a little different than what I'm used to. Like the 34 is probably like the most, I mean, other than maybe like the 17L, but I haven't shot one of those. But out of like the 9mm Glocks, like the 34 is probably like the smoothest and softest. And then like compared to like a 47, my other gun, that's a little bit more like fast and snappy. They both perform pretty much the same. Like some days I prefer one, some days I prefer the other. It's kind of hard to pick a favorite. But like they kind of do the same thing. The Zermätt Arms Waltz 9 was a little, it was just a lot different. Like it's a much heavier gun, so it's not going to move around as much in recoil. It's got that big sight block on the front. I was shooting the sight blocked version, not the comped version, for anybody wondering. And that I think kind of tames down the recoil even more. So like honestly, I don't know that dot even like left the window of the optic. Like shooting doubles at like probably, I don't know, 25-30 yards, you could pretty much keep all your doubles in a circle about like that, which is pretty wild. Like, and that was coming off of having like no, like that was just shooting, you know, a couple hundred rounds in the match and then just going straight to that. It was pretty nuts, honestly. So things I liked about the gun: recoil impulse was crazy. Trigger is absolutely stupid. Like it was a little bit scary at first, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm not used to triggers that are wild. I don't shoot a lot of, like, high-end 2011s or anything like that. I shoot Glocks. This Glock has a Timney trigger in it, so that's kind of like the best trigger that I've got a lot of rounds on. And, you know, I've shot like the PDP with the, whatever their fancy trigger is called, like the dynamic performance trigger or whatever. And so like that's probably the wildest trigger that I had a significant round count through before shooting this Waltz 9, and like it's not even really a comparison. Like, the amount of travel that trigger has in it is like if you see what I'm doing here, like it's probably just like that much in like the whole thing. There's like the safety tab first, so that takes up some slack, and then that thing just kind of wiggles back and forth a little bit. And the best way I can describe it is like when you're shooting the gun, you don't even really think about like pulling the trigger at all. You just kind of think about wanting the gun to go off, and then it goes off. It's pretty nuts. So, yeah, that was an experience for sure. Things that I didn't love about the gun, I can't. The weight seemed a little bit overkill, if I'm being honest. I wouldn't mind it to be a little bit lighter and handier, even if that comes at the cost of a little bit less stupid flat recoil. I think that having a little bit less weight could be nice. It's not like, if you're used to shooting like a bigger 2011 or a Shadow 2 or something, you're probably not gonna feel like there's any issue with the weight. And even if you're coming off of some like a polymer gun, it probably won't take you a whole lot to get kind of used to the extra weight of that thing. But I definitely noticed myself throwing the gun like past targets in transition, and kind of having to like bring the gun back, if that makes sense. So I'd like transition to the target and it would go past, because there's like, the gun had so much momentum. I wasn't used to having to like put the brakes on as hard as I had to with that gun. Also, the one I was shooting had like the big magwell on it, and that magwell felt a little overkill. If I was buying one, I would for sure get the smaller magwell, but that's just personal preference. Like, some people are gonna like the big huge flower pot, and some people aren't. So that's just my observation. The one I was shooting had a Hollow Sun 507 comp on it. That all worked fine. I had zero issues or malfunctions or anything with the gun. I think it had been cleaned previous to me using it. I was using Blazer 115s, and those worked fine. We ran some Blazer 124s through it as well. Those also ran fine. So yeah, I don't know. Seemed to do fine. I was using OEM Glock mags with extensions. That all worked good. Yeah, I liked the gun. Like, if you're considering like a high-end pistol like that, and you're wanting to know if it's worth waiting for that thing to come out, I mean, if you're not like in a rush, I guess I would say so. I shot a Masterpiece Arms the other day, the DS9 hybrid or whatever, their sight blocked one as well. That felt really nice as well. That was a little bit more, but like, that felt a little bit more normal to me, if that makes sense. Like, it didn't seem like as wild of a thing as the Waltz 9 did. A little bit like faster, snappier reciprocation on that. Still perfectly tame in recoil, but just one gun to the other. Like, the Waltz felt a little bit slower. I wouldn't say it's a slow recoil impulse, but it feels a little bit more like slow and subdued, super soft. So I don't know. yeah, I don't know. I can't make that call for you, but I'd say if you're in the market for a really high-end pistol like that and you have any possible way of like being able to test fire one of those guns or something, I would highly recommend you do it before you make a decision. You might like it, you might not, but I'd say it's definitely something that is going to be worth taking a look at. And I'm predicting that they're going to sell quite a few of those things whenever they hit the market, just because of how different and out there it is. So, you know, the downside to something like that is it doesn't have the same like aftermarket support that a 2011 would already have. I'm sure that'll come. The gun didn't really feel like it needed a whole lot of anything else, if I'm being honest. Like, it felt super well made, and like I can't really think of anything I would change on it if it was mine, other than, like I said, that magwell. I'd probably want to either remove the magwell entirely or go with something a little bit smaller, so that my I kind of felt like my hand was squished up like that a little bit, like I didn't have a full use of like the grip space that I wanted. So otherwise, thing was pretty wild. I probably would have shot better the first day if I'd been just shooting my Glock 34, just because I would have been used to it. My very first rounds through that gun were ripping out of the holster on my first stage of that match. I didn't really know I was going to be shooting that gun until like the night before, so that was a little bit wild. Like, I dry fired it a bit in the Airbnb beforehand, but yeah, I definitely would have done a little bit better the first day I'd been shooting my own gun, but that's just a familiarity thing, not a nothing to do with the gun. As it turns out, I shot my Glock 34 the second day, and I I actually shot a little bit worse, but that has nothing to do with the gun. Like, it was some mental errors, some stage planning shenanigans on my own end that that definitely didn't help me there. But I will say, like, if there was a gun to go into a match blind with, that was a pretty good one. So basically, as soon as I figured out like the recoil impulse, which took, you know, a stage or two, my first couple stages were a little bit rough. I had like 3 mics in my first 3 stages, like not on each stage, but like totaled the whole match. I had 3 mics, and they were all like on my first 3 stages. I think I had a Delta in there as well, just because like the recoil impulse was not what I was used to, and like shot calling just felt kind of weird. But once I got that figured out, I actually put down some pretty good stage times and hit factors, so I liked that. Anyway, getting off topic now, we're gonna talk a little bit more about some other things. Big one, ammo's been going up, as everybody can probably tell if you're into shooting and stuff. So I want to talk a little bit about kind of my thoughts on how to do this shooting thing if you're in it for the long run. And it goes a little farther than just shooting, but personally, like, I try to have my life structured in a way that these fluctuations in markets can affect me as little as possible. So, like, ideally, I would just have enough ammo sitting around to shoot for like the next 10 years and not worry about buying ammo. I don't have that much because, like, money is still a factor, and I'm not going to go drop, you know, up $100,000 on freaking ammo to just like have sitting around. It wouldn't be that much in ammo for me to shoot for the next 10 years, but it'd be a lot of money. I'm not going to do that because, like, where I'm at in life, there are other things that I need money for other than ammo. But I do try to keep around a year's supply of ammo on hand. And, like, right now, I'm pretty glad that I'm doing that, because I've got enough ammo to finish out the rest of the year and not really have to worry about buying more. Now, I probably am going to buy some more just, you know, as it goes on sale, or if the market drops a little bit for a little while, I'll hit buy on a couple cases or whatever and just be able to, ride the wave a little bit farther. And that way that if we end up in like a longer term shortage, I don't deplete my whole stock. But I don't really recommend that you go and like panic buy ammo right now at the moment. Like if you find a good deal on it and you want to buy more than you otherwise would, I don't think that's a bad idea. But like, I don't think that this thing that's going on right now that's making all of this stuff expensive is going to necessarily be a super long-term deal. Like what we saw with COVID for a couple of years, stuff got kind of expensive and hard to get. And then kind of the couple of years after that, we had ammo get pretty cheap. I was buying it for like 18 cents a round for a while, for a couple of years there after that COVID stuff had kind of wrapped up. So like I wouldn't be buying crazy amounts of ammo right now, just to like hoard it. Now, if you need it to shoot matches and train with or whatever, like if you need it, you need it, obviously. But I never really recommend that people like panic buy. So that would hold true now. I wouldn't recommend you do that. The way I'm kind of looking at this thing is like, well, I've got ammo. I'll buy it like if I find a decent deal on it and I want to, keep my stock up a little bit, but I'm not going to go and just like panic buy a whole bunch. Now, there was a sale last weekend that I took advantage of and bought a little more than I probably otherwise would have, but not like I didn't go nuts, because I'm just like, well, I'll buy a little bit more. That should, between that and what I already had, like now I should be able to go through like the rest of the year without having to worry about buying ammo if it gets hard to find or stupid expensive or whatever. And going forward now, if ammo just like keeps on going up, like I'm just gonna not buy it because I don't need to. And I think that sometime before I run out of what I have, the market will go down and I can buy more. But there are other things in the industry right now that like aren't going stupid on price, like guns and other accessories. Vortex was running a crazy sale last weekend, or the last couple weekends through Shields. You could get Defender XLs for like $200. Hollow Sun's coming out with that 407 comp that's going to be like sub 300. So like if you need optics, if you need guns, things like that, all those markets are like, they're kind of fighting for sales right now. So I would be looking a little more at that stuff if you're, if you're in this sport for the long run. Like you're going to need all of those things. Mags, find some deals on mags, find some deals on guns, accessories that you've wanted to try, whatever it is. Like I tend to try to always be buying. I try to always be looking forward in my purchasing of shooting related stuff. So whatever is like on, like I kind of have a running list in my head of like things that I'm gonna need in the near future or kind of want to try. And then when those things like come up at a decent deal, like I just buy them, and then I've got them. Like, but I don't like to do the thing where, oh, I want this and like it's the new hot trend right now and it's super expensive and there's not a sale because everybody wants one, so I'm going to spend a ton of money on this. Like, no, I don't do that. Basically all my stuff I've bought at like a discounted price, not because of any like, well, okay, some of it was because of like industry connections. I was working at Shields for a while, and so like I got a couple of things at a bigger discount than most people were gonna get them for. But those things now, like the Defender XLs, I paid more for my Defender XL that I bought at cost working at Shields than they were selling them for last weekend. So really, like, if you time this stuff out, you can get as good a deals as anybody on a lot of this stuff. So, you know, Gen 6 Glocks are in right now. Hey, if you liked the Gen 5 ones, there's going to be some deals to be had on those, because people are going to be trading stuff in. Even if that's stupid, they're going to do it. They're going to be trading in their Gen 5s to get Gen 6s. So gun stores are going to have a bunch of Gen 5s on probably pretty good deals to buy used. Same with optics, like I was saying, there's some good deals to be had in that regard these days. I would be kind of paying attention to all of that. And, you know, if you've been wanting like some new ear pro, some new eye pro, some new holsters, whatever it is, like I said, that stuff's all, those markets are all kind of in the Trump slump right now. Is what we're calling it, right? So I would use that to your advantage and not just blow your whole shooting budget on overpriced ammo, unless of course you know, don't have ammo. Then yeah, I guess you're gonna have to buy some. But looking forward into the future, maybe plan a little better. Buy your ammo ahead of time when it's a good deal, and then you don't have to pay as much for it when everybody else is freaking out about ammo. So that's my little rant on that. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Match updates. So I shot the Old Fort shootout, like I was saying. That was a great match. I really enjoyed it. 2 days, 10 stages each. You can see some of my match footage. I'll probably put some more stage videos and stuff out on there. There was a new shooter match that I helped out with this past weekend. That was a lot of fun. We didn't really keep score. That's why there's not scores on those stage videos. We just kind of were running them and showing people like how USPSA works and why we enjoy it. And I think we're going to get some new shooters out of that deal. Like, quite a few of the people that showed up seemed to have a really good time, and I think that they're going to be coming to more matches and stuff later on in the year. So that's pretty cool. And I like watching the sport grow, and it's fun to watch people like progress rapidly. Like those first few matches, I feel like people can start to really get things go from like really sucking to really not sucking like pretty quick. And so we even saw people like going from one stage to the next, getting like better just within that match. So that was super cool. And I love seeing this sport get more people in it, because it's a ton of fun, and the more people we have, the better, in my opinion. Yeah, so anyway, with the price of ammo stuff, back to that a little bit, I also wanted to talk a little bit about how you can maximize your dry fire training. And, you know, I'm pretty anti-gimmick. I've talked about that before, like the Mantis stuff, even the Ace VR thing, like, looks cool and fun, but I don't necessarily know that it's needed, you know, to get good. So I wouldn't necessarily go after that. Now, if you want to get an Ace VR and you're like, hey, ammo's expensive, this Ace VR thing looks fun, yeah, go for it. Like, you'll probably have a ball with it. But, you know, some other things that you can get, like dummy rounds. These are ones that my buddy Aaron made. He's more of a nerd than I am, so he like 3D printed a plastic primer to go in there, so you can like dry fire on it, and it's like a little bit easier on your gun, I guess. And then he has like a spacer in here so that the bullet doesn't like set back if it gets like chambered repeatedly. Like, that's pretty cool. So I paid him like $1 a piece for a bunch of these. And I had some other ones that he had made, like a Gen 1 that was just like a case and a bullet. These ones are cooler and better. So I've got some of both now. Got a bunch of mags pumped with them. So if you're looking for like my advice on how to do dry fire well, I would say buy some PMags or whatever like a cheap mag for your gun is, or if you have some old ones that are worn out, like that works too. And yeah, get some dummy rounds, weight those mags up with them, and then you just have those as your dry fire practice mags. And you, like, these ones are never going to see live ammo again. They've got DF on there. If you see, however that's supposed to go, there you go. DF for dry fire. Like, these mags don't get live ammo in them ever anymore. They're just pumped full of dummy rounds. I got another one back here too. This is just a flush fit. But yeah, do stuff like that. You've seen the little cardboard cutouts that I've got. I've got a bunch of these that I just cut out of, like, this is out of a mac and cheese box, okay? Like, it's free to do. Pull a cardboard box out of your recycle, cut out some little USPSA targets. Like, obviously, this one isn't perfect, but whatever. It works for what I'm doing with it. You can also buy some from, like, Zerat Arms and the Ben Steger Pro Shop. They've got little cardboard ones if you just want to buy them, too, that are pretty cheap. I'm sure there's, like, PDFs to print stuff and cut them out. All of that exists. All of it's great. Get stuff like this. Super cheap, super effective for doing dry fire. Get a part-timer app on your phone. I like the Zerat Arms Range Day one. Yeah, I know there's a bunch of drama with Zerat Arms, but that app is still pretty cool, so I still use it. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I am going to be doing a lot more of now with the ammo market being the way it is. Like, even though I have enough to get through the end of the year, I'm probably going to take a little bit less serious, well, not less serious, but less ammo consuming approach to practice this year, at least for a while. Part of that's also just schedule and stuff. Like, I'm not going to be making it out to the range probably quite as much as I did last year, so that's fine though. Like, I can still dry fire and get a lot of practice in with just a gun and a belt and some dummy rounds and some mac and cheese box targets. So, like, it's kind of the thing, and you'll figure out if you do this long enough that anybody who's doing it really well probably does more dry fire than they do live fire. Like, there's very few people out there who are getting seriously good with a gun primarily off of live fire. Yes, that's more fun, but it also takes way more time and way more money. And so yeah, most people that are getting good at this are using dry fire because it's kind of the more efficient way to practice most of the time. Anyway, all that to say, match updates. I signed up for North Dakota State. I think it's like July 26th or something like that in Minot, North Dakota. So I'm going to be shooting that state match as well. I think everything else is still the same from the last time I made an update on here. Oh, I guess not really a major, but a match that I'm going to be shooting. The dark match, I think, is April 11th. Is that right? I don't know. It's a Saturday in April. It's in Canton, South Dakota. I'm going to be shooting that. If any of you are in, like, the Sioux Falls area and want to shoot a cool match, that's a really fun one. So probably not a great, like, first match if you haven't ever shot USPSA before, but I know people who that was their first match and they've turned out fine. So you can definitely do that if you want to. Anyway, yeah, let me know if you got any more questions about shooting matches, the state of the, like, gun industry and stuff. Something also I should clarify with Zermätt Arms. I've never met any people who work for Zermätt Arms. Like, they definitely don't have any say in my opinion. You can tell by the size of my channel, nobody's paying me anything to say anything good about guns. So just something worth mentioning. Like, if I hate a gun, I'll absolutely say it on here. But yeah, that's kind of it for this one. So later.